right, let's do a quick run through of the event store because I know some of you are wondering, hey, we got an event store already. This is surprising. What should we get? And they were nice enough to put the most important thing for you to get right out here in front of you. It's this Fleet Commander unlock slot. This is the fourth slot that typically was available for spending $100 that they are making available to you for 180,000 event store currency. Now, we have no idea what the amount of event store currency this month is going to be. Will there be currency in ticket events? Don't know. There's none in the battle pass. Usually there's at least a little bit in there, but instead they're giving us the rare officer tokens instead. So this could be a month where maybe we only get like 200K because it's limited in events and things like that. And maybe this is like, what are you going to pick? What are you going to choose? Well, having an extra fleet commander unlock slot is kind of game changing because what that's going to do for you is give you this third seat right here. So you can have 3 active at the same time. So you're getting all kinds of useful bonuses from these people running simultaneously. And then to get the 4th one unlocked, you just have to get to Syndicate level 40, which is where you get that one unlocked. Or buy it, whichever you want to do. Then when you get to Syndicate level 40, it would be wasted because you wouldn't have, you'd have all 4 unlocked already. But that is an option, I suppose. Not the way I would do it. I would do this as, instead of spending $100 on a Fleet Commander slot, I would try and get the one for free right here now out of the game. And then when I get to Syndicate level 40, get the 4th one. But who knows? Maybe by then they'll expand this and we'll have a 5th Syndicate spot. Or a 5th Fleet Commander spot. So players with 3 slots already apparently don't see it in the store. Interesting. So maybe it's if you already have a 3rd one. That's weird though, because if you bought one, then maybe you can't see it. If you didn't get to the Syndicate level, maybe that's what it is. If you haven't gotten the Syndicate one yet, I guess they don't want to let you overlap like that. And maybe if you get this one, you won't see the one available to buy in the store, and you'll just have to wait to get to Syndicate 40. Okay. It's only to replace the pay one? Okay. PJ doesn't see it. Okay. If you already bought it, you can't see this one to get it for free. Okay, that's good to know. You want a refund of your $100? Yeah, submit your request. Write up your receipt and send it in on with your TPS cover sheet, and we'll get right on top of that, Rose. Now, if you can't get this, what else is in here worth getting? Well, it's the usual standard ship blueprints. Nothing new and or exciting in here. You're still limited on buying bundles, the amount of quantity of certain ships and things that you can get. I don't see anything new and exciting in here so far. As I'm scrolling through, it looks like just your typical end of arc event store ship bundle purchase. I mean, I guess Voyager and the Monavine are a little newer, but they've been in there for a little while, I feel like. Officers, we've only got 4 to choose from, and Picard and Data have a limit on them. So you might have enough to be able to unlock them, depending on how you did in some of those SLBs. I need 28, so this could be a potential thing I go after. And then I still need probably the same, because, yeah, I only got a third of Data. And then you also have Kirk and Pelia, who coincidentally don't have any type of restriction mentioned on them in terms of a shard count limit. So if you wanted to go crazy, I guess you could. Hypodermic's asking, why does Lieutenant Picard have a captain's ability? Because gameplay sometimes trumps lore and thematic nature. And I agree, he's not a captain's ability. That's the whole point of his thing, is that he's stuck down in a science lab, and, his career and his evaluations, he even asks Riker, like, do you see a path for me to command? And he's like, no, I don't. But in this case, I guess they didn't want to give him a lower deck ability to such an officer who's going to be working, I guess, in that capacity. So, Zephog says you were looking at the NX01 from the event store. Now I have the NX01, so maybe that's why. I don't remember seeing it as I was scrolling through. But I have it already on this account. So maybe that's why I can't see it, because it won't let me build another one. I can check my other account. Let's hop over. Oh, I closed it. All right, never mind. 700K to buy the whole thing? Yikes, that's pricey, but it is a lot of shards. I mean, it's 200 shards for that ship. So, yeah. Maybe you can chip away at it a little bit, right? Get the other things you want first, and then whatever's left, dump into some NX01 shards to kind of just speed up that acquisition a little bit. That definitely sounds expensive. Ship parts, this again looks like the same. It's parts for the Talios, and there are upgrade parts for the NX01 in here. Shape alloys for the cube. If you're trying to upgrade your Borg cube, that could also be helpful here. The only thing I'll remind players of is that a lot of these specialty ships and the parts related to them, are tied to the tier of your ship. The amount of parts you get are tied to the tier of your ship usually. Maybe the Monavine's a bad example, but some of these other ones are typically the amount you get tied to the tier of your ship, as I've said 3 times now. So if you're planning on tiering up your ship, buy just enough that you need to tier up the ship, then come back to the event store if you want to buy more, because the prices will be the same for the bundles, but the amount you get will have gone up. And that is a little way you can get yourself a little more value, a little more bang for your buck there. We got some refits. Anything's flashy. Apex barrier refits, cloaking refits. I don't see any of the new refits. That would have been way too sweet if they were still in here or had been added to here, but no. Some old throwback cosmetics. I mean, if this is your thing and if you like avatars and frames, knock yourself out. To me, they don't enhance your gameplay. Probably not something, unless there's absolutely nothing else you need because you have everything. Even then, I'd still say buy some proto matter or proto catalyst to upgrade some forbidden techs. Never buy this. This is a hoax. Do not buy this under any circumstances. I've said this on every event store for 2+ years now, but I never know who's new to the channel, who's new to watching this content. Never buy this. You'll use it for about a week, and that point in time, you'll kind of run out of cloaking research to do, and you'll regret having spent 60,000 event store currency on it. Syndicate XP is always a good opportunity to buy it. If you are going to buy Syndicate XP, I always just say wait till the middle of the month whenever they run the Syndicate event, so you get a little extra value there. Buy your Syndicate bundles then. Hit a milestone or 2, get some officers unlocked. And then we got resources and materials kind of at the end here. The conversion rate on these is always pretty bad. 3,000 event store currency, I get 11. Like, that's not really a great exchange rate when you need 3,000, 5,000, 10,000 to do an upgrade. So this again is usually I've got 12,000 currency left. What am I going to spend it on? All right, great. I'll pick up a little bit of this stuff because I already got all my officer shards or whatever else I was looking for. So, and that's it for our event store so far. There's always a possibility that people say, hey, what about this? And what about this? And they add a few more things in here. But for right now, that's what you got. There is an event running already. It's a 5-day event. This is what we've got in the last couple of months, where it's spending your currency this month are called resistance chits with a C sound. I know some people are going to pronounce that as more of an S sound because it's just funnier that way, but we're going with the C sound. Um, kind of like a gaming token, right? A chit. So there'll be 3 of these running. They're 5-day events. If you finish in the top 25 of one of them, you get invited to the finale one, the 4th one. The first 3 events here are most likely going to have rare officers. That's what we saw in the last one we had of these. I think it was Balana and then E Data and then like Tom Paris or something. And then in the finale, I think it was an epic officer, like the Doctor or something like that, that they were giving away shards for. So choose your spending carefully and when you want to spend your event store currency to try and take advantage of which officers. Again, I don't know what officers they're going to put, so don't wait. Oh, Tibbs said there's. I don't know. I don't know who it's going to be. I'm just saying that's what they did 2 months ago when we had another event store, and here's an opportunity again to take advantage of something like that. So, you know, which officer do you want? The one behind door number 1, or door number 2, or perhaps door number 3? Kind of have to wait and see, and keep an eye on what's going on here. As you can see, people have already started to spend. And these particular brackets for this, well, these guys are in their 60s. Baller's what, 67? He's a 67. So this is a 51 and up bracket. So you're in here competing against spending event store currency against people who spend money to buy event store currency. Something to keep in mind too. So what are you guys getting? What are you guys looking at in that event store saying, I got to get this, and then this is the thing I want the most? Mona Bean has a limit on the ship parts. It does. Bad Wolf can get scimitar blueprints for 15,000 per shard. Yeah, that's pricey. Mm-hmm. Fleet commander slot for sure. That one seems like the biggest ticket item, right? That's the one that I'm crossing my fingers that everybody gets at least 180k currency, because when they put that out there like that, that's the kind of one that makes me think either that's it and that's all you're getting, like we're getting 200k this month and that's it, or you're really going to have to do some ticket events, hopefully even saving them up, because you're probably going to have to do multiple ticket events to even get enough currency to get that, because it just seems too good to be true to kind of dangle that out there in front of you on day one. And it's like, well, where's the currency coming from, right? Because it's not coming from the battle pass. So it's all got to be coming from events, and how many of them are going to be leaderboard events where I'm competing against, 50s and up for some of this stuff. Like the District 56 one, I think is given. Uh, that's given 7 of 9 shards, but I think this one's given. Yeah, this one's given event store currency, right, for the new building. But if I'm competing against potentially 61 plus players, 58. Okay, so it looks like this might actually be these are all 50s still. So at least that's right. This bracket looks reasonable. So if I wanted to try and upgrade this particular building and score on this, maybe I could. And at least have a shot of getting some event store currency. But some of this other stuff, obviously this SLB for this particular one is giving out is a different bracket. So Fleet commander slot, 100%. Also need mirrored data though. Yeah. I mean, unlocking data, unlocking Picard. Those are some challenges there. I know some people obviously like Strange New World Kirk too. He does have a path. Once you get the Gorn Eviscerator, you get an additional refinery to start sourcing him. If you're doing the free-to-play events, keeping up every Thursday, mid-September is when you will unlock your Gorn Eviscerator. and then can start working on that refinery process. So you still have about 2 months from today, just over 2 months, um, before that even kicks in. So if you've gotten this long without Kirk, can you go 2 more months without him? Or are you thinking, hey, let me go ahead and get him unlocked now while I can, and I can just worry about trying to tear him up down the road because I'm going to need him for the next 2 months. All going to be very dependent on your level bracket and things and where you're at. So, Chris, you got multiple players who've spent on the district SLB. I think people were kind of. I'm sure we will over the next day or two, or people who have already spent but just haven't spent the event store currency and stuff yet, or haven't spent the materials yet. I think people are kind of waiting to see more about the building first, or they just haven't been online yet before upgrading this and doing everything to it. So, we talked about the building the other night and all of its different things. It does have a gift tab tier to it, which we'll look at in just a second. Ticket events don't have loot anymore. That could change. Maybe this month they do. Maybe this month they don't. Maybe they're only in the rare ones, right? That's where they have put the event store loot previously. So that means you're going to have to do all 9 ticket events to get to the rare one. So then you can get, I think it was 9,000 event store currency last time, which was really cheap considering the regular ticket events used to have 6,000 in them by themselves. So then it comes down to, though, how many event store tickets do you have? I got 205. So that means I can do 20. And then throughout the month. So I could technically do all 3 weekends of ticket events on this account if the rewards look like they're worth it. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Fleet Commander slot over data. Unless you're a hardcore PvP guy, I think the Fleet Commander slot is the most valuable thing here. And even if you are, great. Because that also then means that you can put one of these people into that third slot, giving yourself more PvP bonuses. Maybe not as dramatic and as strong as Apex Barrier, but you could still at least still end up netting some improvement. Maybe just not as big of an improvement as you were hoping for.